Okay, so I had to interview this guy. I love his work. His show is my favourite show to be interviewed on. Paul Boggie Brighton, Agent 29. How the devil are you?
I'm I'm okay. The devil's not bad himself. So I used to, because I had students. Well, actually no. When I was close protection, I had people that would say that. How the devil are you? I'm okay. The devil's okay himself. So that's
That
definitely one
freaks
of
people
those.
out when you use that word, doesn't it? The reason why I wanted to interview Sifu Boggie, his life has dramatically changed. But we actually saw this a few years back, and you have that thing where you see something, go, well, I don't know how that's going to happen. Then the change comes, and you forget about it, and then one day you sit there and go, ah, this is what we saw. So I'll let you tell the story,
Yeah,
Boggie, because it is.
yeah.
And I'm so happy about where you are. But anyway, you
Oh,
tell the story.
you read both. Well, so I mean, I've known Anne, quite a few years. She'd been on the show already a couple of years, and it was actually coming up to. It was my birthday. You actually did it. I don't know if I remember saying at the time, but it was actually on my birthday on April the 8th that we did the reading, and I was on the way to Brighton, and there'd be and because wasn't going to get there in time, I actually got off, and I was on I can't remember which line, which platform it was, but I was actually in the middle, halfway between London and Brighton, on a platform getting this reading. That's what I never, that was one of the cool things. And we're like, oh, stay there's a train going by. Right, yeah. Now carry on now. What you were saying, and that was part of I got this reading. And this reading, I mean, where I was, I used to work for the police. I was a PCSO, police community support officer for the police. Well, at the time, I think I've been doing it about 9 years, and I wasn't happy. And I was actually in a bedsit. I was actually in a bedsit at the time, and I'm very good at what I've learned. I'm very good too. The world sees the happy Boggie, and I was in a pretty dark place because just the way everything was. And my daughter lived in the coast at Worthing, and so I had to go and see her when I could. Gave up driving because it's so expensive. It was cheaper to go by train than it was to drive. So I didn't have a car. Lived in a bedsit. And when we had this reading, Anne said, "I see you on this beautiful land. I see you, many acres of land, 8 or 9 acres of land, and I see you with this woman that you absolutely adore, and she absolutely adores you, and you're almost like kids again, you two, and it's like a life, like." You're catching up. It's like you're when you meet, you're going running, and it will be that relationship will be. Others might not get it, but that relationship will be really firm and really strong very quickly. But you'll be on this land, and you'll do retreats and whatnot. But I've always had this idea, which I knew, which is called the moving crew. And that is basically a kroon is the Chinese word for dojo, and the whole idea is that it'll be a little hut or a little moving, like a little van, maybe in the UK there's a thing called a Luton van, convertible van, and I'll go from place to place teaching and healing and doing classes. And she's like, I can still see you. You'll do that at certain times of the year, but you'll have you'll be on this land, and everything will be set up. And at the time I didn't even know know my partner now, Eleanor, and that was 6 years ago. At least 6 years ago, I think. Yeah. And yeah, it was like I would go to Brighton. I would go to the coast once a week because that was my biggest hit, my biggest pleasure. But I was living in a bedsit, and doing a job that was good money, but it just wasn't. It wasn't fulfilling my heart. It wasn't making me happy. And that was that. And then what's happened is, like, my 2020, for a lot of people, things change. I also, not only did things change, but my family, my dad had my dad's cancer had come back. He was 15 years throat cancer free, and it came back, and this time it was terminal. And you know, we dealt with that, and we, you know, helped him, like, through that, and he died. He died just the day after my daughter's birthday, actually, in April, April the 15th, in 2021. And when he died, it was, I in my head, things changed, things flipped, and I said, right, that's it. I was always here because of my dad, because of terminal illness, and my daughter was 74 miles away, and I was in a different direction. Always wanted to. I'd actually lived near the coast before, lived near Brighton for a little bit, but then had to come back, and I was drawn to it again. I thought, right, I'm going to the coast, and that's it. I'm going to go to the coast. I'm still going to work in the police, so I'm actually going to be travelling 74 miles, you know, for the police to things. So that's what I did.
Mm.
And that was for a year and a half. I was in Worthing, living in Worthing, still coming back to London, doing this crazy journey. But fortunately, you know, I had in the work, I had inspectors that said, yeah, you know, we'll support you with this, you know, because of everything you've been through, we'll be there for you. And then I met Eleanor, and it was just online at first, and she was looking for people who she wanted to do spiritual retreats, and she was looking for somebody who would do a spiritual retreat. And I saw pictures of the place, and it's, oh, that looks beautiful. I'd love to, you know, come there. We were talking and chatting, and then when we actually met, we clicked, like, almost instantly, and so we just sort of clicked, and then one of our dates that we had in a pub round here, and she lives near Market. We live near Market Raisin. Now, anybody who's a bit of an Elton John fan may know that Market Raisin is the place that the song Saturday Night, or Is All Right for Fighting, that it was based on Market Raisin and Caister.
Wow.
The gangs in those two places would go to each other, would go to the other one and have punch-ups, and that's what that
Wow.
song was about. And I was in this pub, like, joking about this with the landlord, who they still complain about this song now. and then I was saying, oh, you know, that reminds me of, you know, or talk about past, and, you know, and things. It brought up Anne Church, and I suddenly went in the restaurant. Oh my God! And goes, you know, what? And he's like, you're you. Yeah, I know I'm me. What do you mean? No, I mean, you're you. You're the person that Anne was talking about. That and the land, and because, like, she mentioned the land would be a beautiful house, and she said, oh, there's other buildings there, but I can't quite see what they are. And else we do Airbnb. We've got Airbnb here. And we have a wedding barn. We do weddings here.
Wow.
We do other events as well. We got Airbnb. We also do camping. And yeah, it was that whole idea that from the original point, I had no clue, you know, and at that time, those years were my darkest moments, because, you know, it is that I was, like I said, going to the coast once a week, spending that money just to feel better, because where I lived was a dive. I actually had a leaking roof. I had rats coming in. This is the stuff I never told people. But yeah, there was. I shared a house, and somebody originally let rats in the house, and so there was rats running around in the house. The landlord wouldn't fix the leaking roof, so I literally had water pouring onto my bed. And it was, and where I lived wasn't a safe place. Somebody died. There was a park nearby, which was pretty, and a lot of the old videos you see of me teaching Qigong and Tai Chi was in this park. But a person died in there every year. You know, it was a bit of a drug dealer's place at night time. And so they went from all that darkness, and everything flipped round to suddenly where I am today. And I haven't got the Queen yet, but Els loves the idea of that's coming up. That's definitely the next thing. But it's that thing that you get readings, or you see your own visions, and you see things, you think, how's that going to work? How's that going to happen? And it's that idea of you just got to go with the flow and just and let things be, because the universe, the universe really does work in mysterious ways. But it does. I very much believe in the information of Project Gateway, that the universe is conscious. And actually, quantum physics now says that they can't prove it. They can't explain it, but the maths is saying that the universe is conscious and it interacts with us. And I think everything always settles itself in a way that is for your learning process, for you to learn and grow.
I've noticed a lot to do with time, with the timeline, and it's almost as if things are put on the timeline ready for when it happens. And that actually happened to me with one of your shows. It's a weird thing. A couple of years ago, I had a health issue, and it wasn't something I'd ever heard of or knew of. And so obviously got off to the hospital. I don't often get ill, but I went off to the hospital, and it was something I needed to sort out. I needed to sort this out. And what had happened was 6 months before, I popped into a friend's clinic, and in that clinic was this guy. Is an amazing guy, and he said, sit down, you need to breathe in hydrogen, you're going to need hydrogen. So I sat there, but I'm thinking, and there's all people milling about, what am I breathing in? Isn't hydrogen the stuff that blows up? What's he doing with me? And he said, you need sulfur, take sulfur, take sulfur. Later I found out that breathing in hydrogen and sulfur, the two things needed for that condition. He told me that 6 months before I had the condition. Previous to that, and I think it was a couple of years before, I was on your show with Chris Milbank, and I listened to the show again because I know on one of your shows I said about something strange coming out of China. It looks like a yellow or orange dust, and it's flown across, and it's toxic, it's going to make people ill. I remember saying, I still can't bloody find it, but I knew I said that. So I listened to this show, and Chris Milbank actually mentioned the condition. I had no recollection of that because I didn't even know what it was. He actually mentioned it, and mentioned hydrogen and something else. I'm trying to think what it was, something else that would fix it. So I fixed it. People say you can't. I fixed it. So I'm buzzing with health now. But all them things are on the timeline, your show, all that ready. So when that happened, out of all the shows I've done hundreds of shows, I happened to listen to that one which mentioned it. So it's all. So for you, it was already on your timeline. It was waiting for that to open up, you to meet your lady, to find the place. It's amazing. I love this. I really love. So I didn't realize you do weddings, camping, Airbnb.
Yeah. So I mean, Els is a trooper. Is her name's Eleanor, and I call her Lady Eleanor. I do very much the Parker and the when we're working. I'm Parker. I'm her butler. Yes, my lady. Yes, my lady. And then obviously, well, we're off duty now. Come here. Give me a kiss. Yes, so she's been doing like weddings here for 20 years on her own.
Wow.
She originally got this with a partner, and that didn't work out, but she kept the property, and it's an old farm. And like Setcops is originally an old farm, and there's 9 acres of land. And then just when we met, she just planted through a charity, she planted 1,000 trees in the front. So in the front 3 acres of our property, when I look out this window, at the moment they're all baby trees, but within the next 5 years there'll be literally what set copse means is small woods.
Wow.
And so
am I wobbling to you?
Back to its original name, set copse. So there'll be three acres of woods at the front. And then she's got big barn, holds about 150 people, and so she's been doing weddings, and then she
Wow.
was been doing camping for the last, like, 20
Wow.
years.
So she's really set up. She's all
Mm.
set up. What sign is she? What sign is Eleanor?
She is,
Now you're in trouble.
July the 11th.
Oh, Cancerian.
Right. So,
Earth Mother. Earth Mother. Wonderful. Yeah. They
yeah,
really understand.
she
Yeah, it's perfect.
we're both the same age, and so, like, I think I've said to you before, the whole thing of the in Chinese astrology, because I know Chinese astrology better than Western.
Right, right.
And in Chinese astrology, we're both the same year, and we're born in the year of the dog, and
Right.
it bore the metal dog. So the metal dog years are either really, really good or really, really bad.
Right.
But they're hard workers, and it's all about the guardian. They're very much guardians, they're very much like protectors, the dog energy. And yeah, I mean, that's very much me, and that's very much her. She's,
Both
you know,
loyal.
her,
Both
her two
loyal.
sons. Yeah.
So what are
Yes.
your plans? What you're going to be putting on? Obviously you're doing your stuff. What are your plans? What events are you going to be putting on?
Well, funny enough, I mean, I've definitely brought some different stuff in here to Setcops. In April, we have. I'm a little bit into a thing called steampunk. Steampunk is sort of Victorian sort of dress.
I
With a
met your
little bit of,
steampunk friends.
yes,
I
and
did.
yes, I know you did. Old Sprig and Mist. Well, they're actually here in July. They're coming, but in April,
I watched a bit of them playing online. They're great. I watched them online because I follow them because they came to my offices because we got loads. Well, not like you've got, but we got a fair bit of land, and they put on it. I really hope they come back because they were everywhere. They took
yeah.
over. They were everywhere. It was brilliant. It was so cool. So I'm hoping.
Well, funny enough, the two main leaders in Sprig and Mist are husband and wife, Baz
Yeah,
and
I follow
Maxine.
them. Baz, I follow
Yeah.
Baz
Well,
and
Baz
his
is
wife.
he's another seafood. He teaches in my school, so he actually does kickboxing himself.
Saw it.
He's a world former world champion in kickboxing,
Ooh,
and also he also does qigong, and so he's the sifu in my school, and his wife is a Reiki master, and I'm her master. I taught her. I gave her.
and she's a rock
Reiki
chick.
master.
I follow these guys, and she's a rock chick. I follow them online. She got that. Yeah, she is. I've seen a good job. Yeah, no, they're great. I met them when they come up. They were great. Yeah, I met some amazing people there. In fact, a lovely lady called Artie, who's on the other bit of Bray. And I've ended up friends with her. She's brilliant. She's adorable. So I met some great people through your steampunk friends. They were great.
Yes.
I wish I'd bought a hat. I want them to come back because I didn't buy a hat. I want to buy a hat. Got to get a hat.
You want to buy a hat?
I must come
I've
up
got
and
that
do
in
something.
April. So I've got this big event in April called the
Oh,
Barnstorm, and we're actually around. There's a military base and there's airports near us, so there's a very aeronautic theme to this steampunk event. And we've got Professor Elemental, who's a chap hop rapper. So he talks about cups of tea and in rap. And then I've got Madam Misfit, who's also a lady chap hop rapper, but she's very aeronautical as well. And it's a little bit like Carry On Camping. She's got the British aeronautical aeronautical propeller society, otherwise known as BAPS. So she has the BAPS club, where, like, so she's Madam Misfit, and she'll be down here, and we've got both a market. So we've got a steampunk market, and lots of different stuff. So there'll be crystals here. We've got actually all Vedic food. One of our friends does our Vedic herbs and spices and cooking. So we've got a Vedic food on Saturday, and we've got another van as well. And that's all happening in April. Then I've also in April got both a bard, a pagan bard coming, and also we've got the castaways, which are the old shanty music. So we're going from steampunk and chap hop to folk and shanty music, and then the following month, Spring and Mist will be here, and they'll be jamming away with a group called K-Lade, which is like quite heavy metal. So we're going from chap hop, folk and shanty music to prog rock now. Spring and Mist is a bit more prog rocky or folky prog rocky, and then we got this heavy rock in July. But then I also do the retreats. So we've got different retreats of teaching Qigong and Reiki and using Chinese astrology, 5-element cooking, lots of different things that we do in the retreats. And then also, if you live near here, I actually do massage. I do lots of different styles of massage. One of them is called Shindao, and it's actually known for giving people past life regression, for helping them.
That's one you did online the other day.
Yeah.
I'm booking myself in for that when I come up. That, I could feel it. I seriously could feel it. I'm watching that going, I'm having that. It worked. Yeah, you're working on this woman's back, but the stuff that was going on, amazing. Yeah. I'm having that.
What we'll always, because the energy, the Reiki, there's Reiki in the West and Reiki in the East, and Reiki in the East is a lot different. And it's
Right.
it's the things I learned. It's very Star Wars. It's like meaning like in Star Wars, the Jedi they do these exercises to build up the power, and then they can use those abilities. Well, that's actually how it's taught in the West. In fact, that's what Star Wars was based on. It was based on Eastern Reiki, Shin Chi Shen, and Qigong. These techniques I use, it actually allows that energy to grow. Anybody can use these abilities, like with what you teach with progression. Anybody can do this. It's latent technologies that we have inside us. It's just about actually practicing them and making them work. So so there you go.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. I see you there's a new, I think in the summer, I don't know if it's this year or future years, I think you're going to be putting on a really big event that's going to take over several fields. And I think it'll end up really, really big. I can just see a lot, and it'll be a yearly event. Loads of people will arrive, loads and loads and loads. I like when they took over where I work, it's going to be massive, loads of things going on, and it'll be, I think, 3 days. So that's my little prediction. I see that happening, and it'll be a big event. Like people every year will come back. It'll be really, really. And it'll be music and food and juggling and this and spiritual stuff. And there'll be different tents, a bit like a mini Glastonbury with lots going on. It'd be great.
Yeah, that's definitely that's my sort of gig. That's my sort of thing. It is like, as a Taoist, the path, the balance is bringing all these things together. We're too much into, it should only be this. We're too much into separating stuff, and things should be brought together. And it's definitely what I've talked about. Like here is like, she does weddings, and Els is very much about. She's actually a head witch. A hedge witch. So she's all about using going back to the ancient ways. But then she does these events, and she does corporate stuff as well. So it's a whole idea of understanding that we're all magical, we all got these abilities, and it's drawing it in, and it's creating these communities where you can draw it in. And I definitely want to do an event. We'll do an event or workshop with you, and there's so many people I want to bring down here, and there's definitely a different energy here. I've already seen a few UFOs here. I've seen a couple of orbs. I know there's at least one ley line on this land. There's definitely portal energy here. There's definitely magical stuff. We actually have from Brighton, of all places, the Brighton astronomy astrological group. They actually come all the way up here because the stars are so good up here. And so that's all the things we got arranged for the future, and in a Boggie style. But I always do things with a little bit of fun, a little, a little bit silly, and because we're all, we've got to lift them up. We've got to lift our hearts. We've got to, make things fun. We're too serious. We take things far too seriously, and that's what makes us ill.
Do you know, I absolutely agree. I think a lot of spiritual people, a lot of self-help people take themselves so seriously, and they've lost the ability. Life is funny. Life is ridiculous and funny on a daily basis. And when we get to that and we laugh a lot, everything changes. It just, I find when you've got something horrible, have you ever laughed at a funeral? Oh my God. I've got friends I can't go to funerals with, and no matter how tragic it is, no matter how heartbroken we are, something ridiculous will happen. Like somebody will say the person's wrong name as they're talking about them. And that's it. We all flip out. Having that, it takes the edge off of life, doesn't it? It lightens life. Whatever's going on, if you can laugh, everything's a whole lot better. So, fella, have you got a website with all the information?
I've just got to sort my website out again. I'm on Linktree. I'll send you the actual link.
Because I'll put it on. Yeah, if you can send me some link of all what's going on, I can. I'll put it in with this because I'll put this on YouTube and various other places, and I think I will definitely come up in the summer. I can't wait. To sit out and see the stars. I won't be any good at camping, by the way. I'm rubbish at things like that. I'll be knocking on your door in the middle of the night going, "Oh God," and I'm like,
well, no, you don't have to camp. We have Airbnb here. We have beautiful cottages. In fact, one of the cottages is so lovely. We stay there ourselves when there's nobody in it. We use it ourselves. It has a beautiful bed. It's this awesome super king size bed. So yeah, so I think that one's good. All
that'll do for me. So listen, it's been amazing. I'm so excited by what you're doing because I think we're craving this. We're craving this. We're craving these events, the countryside. We're craving peace. We're craving being around good people, funny people, talented people. So I will definitely come up. But for now, thank you so much. I've really loved hearing about this. Thank you so much.